Howdy y'all, the JTJ here with RollToWound.com. In today's Age of Sigmar battle report, we'll have Be'lakor and the Legion of the First Prince taking on Tzeentch Archaon. So, let's get ready to roll. Alright, so deviating from my standard tournament battle reports, we actually had the opportunity to come into the game room and sit and play a game of Age of Sigmar. My opponent was Mr. Ratley, who, if you've watched the last battle report I did, he actually made first place at that tournament with the same list that he's playing me here. So I was super excited because it was a good chance for me to really test out my list and play some really good hard competition. Play a mechanic against a mechanic I haven't actually seen with Be'lakor and how he's using some of his stuff and how he's really built this list to honestly just like it really matches up well to a lot of lists, and he can shut a lot of stuff down. Is it the perfect list? By no means, and because there are some really hard counters to it, I think. But all right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with a my list recap, and like I said, there will be a timestamp. So you can go skip all this if you already know what's going. There's also a link in the description to both these lists and things like that if you want to look at the hard copy of that. All right, so I am running Tzeentch, going with Host Arcanum, and I've basically back in the Mortal Realms when I started building my Tzeentch list. The Realm of Metal is where they were from, fluff wise, and how I was basing them and sort of doing all that. And so I just kept it. Doesn't really have an effect on the game, in my opinion, anymore right now. Prize Sorcery. So you're pretty much having to kill 4 of my heroes to get that. It was a little bit better when the pinks were still counted as wizards, so that was just a little bit extra bonus, but not something detrimental now. And the triumphs I take is inspired. I'm not really worried about battle shock too much, and I really think the pluses to roll on those wounds is the way to go with this list. All right, leaders. I have a change caster, and that's going to be my general. He's got the spell hunters. The artifact is the Fang Circlet, and the lore change is the lore, his spell he's taken is Lore of Change, Arcane Transformation. So the spell hunters are going to give Archaon and pretty much him or in, if I wanted to, the blue scribes, but Archaon a pre-game 6-inch move. In most scenarios I found it's really not needed. However, if we are playing a certain like long ways maps or certain maps, or if the opponent decides he wants to deploy really far back, that could be the extra space I need to go and get them if I decide to go first. The Arcane Transformation is going to, the point of that is to cast it, put it on Archaon, probably give his Slayer of Kings the extra attack. So that's what the Arcane this whole list is just running through Archaon. So everything you're seeing is just buffing him and helping him. Blue Scribes, they're going with the Lore of Change, Bolt of Tzeentch. So I needed a little bit more mortal wound output, to be quite honest. The blue scribes are only casting their signature spell, the Boon of Tzeentch. That's what they're doing every turn. However, if I find that they're the last people alive, maybe that everybody else is out of position, I can go for that Bolt of Tzeentch for D6 mortal wounds. The list is a little low on mortal wound output, so I added that spell in this time to try to balance that out. But in general, I don't see that I'm going to use it. I have Archaon, the Ever-Chosen, and this is what the list is all about. You're running everything through him, and I put Shield of Fate on him, which is reroll all save rolls. It's basically a little chart, and it's based off your Destiny dice. At full Destiny dice, he's going to get a reroll all failed saves, and he's going to get a 4+ spell shrug. So that stacks on top of his spell shrug already, so it's really hard to get a spell through to him. He should be a 1+, if not a negative, if you want to say, like, he's a 3-up armor, and generally speaking, I'll have him +2 to a save every turn, re-rolling that. So he's pretty much should be saving on 2 or 3s, re-rolling, especially first if things go the way they're supposed to. That's what the theory is. I brought a Chaos Lord, and he's Mark of Tzeentch. The Chaos Lord is just there for his command ability. He synergizes really well with Archaon. Basically, for a command point, he will let Archaon pile in and attack again. So at 120 points, while it is, I had a couple games, and some games he wasn't in position. A couple games he was, and when he is, and he gets that off, he pays for himself right there. If you can get that ability off just one time in the game, more than likely it's going to pay for itself right there. So I believe it's worth bringing. Plus, he's a 7-wound hero. So if you're playing a mission that requires a hero to sort of be out doing something, he's not completely squishy. I mean, he's not the most survivable, but you can run him a little bit forward. He can handle chaff a little bit, but he needs to be protected. He's just there to buff Archaon, hands down. Chaos Sorcerer Lord with a Bolt of Tzeentch, and he's really there for his signature spell, Demonic Power. That's going to allow Archaon to reroll all hit and wound rolls. So the way the turn should go is once we get into casting, on a 2-up, the blue scribes are going to cast Boon of Tzeentch. I did fail. I failed that twice during this battle report. Just to let you know, I rolled 2 1s during this. Then that's going to give their 18-inch bubble of reroll all casts, and then you start going down. If your enemy has no dispels, go in whatever order. If the enemy has dispels, I personally think Shield of Fate and Demonic Power are your 2 primary ones. You're trying to wait and save on them to the end. So cast Arcane Transformation first, or a Mystic Shield, stuff like that. But you're going to reroll the casting, get Shield of Fate up, Demonic Power, Arcane Transformation, and all that goes on Archaon. He's super buffed. He should be rerolling all hits, all wounds, all failed save, 2 shrugs for spells. Arcane Transformation is going to give him an extra attack on one of his profiles. So he's super beefed up. That's pretty much what we're rolling with. Going back, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, I gave him a Bolt of Tzeentch also, and I sort of duplicated that spell. Somebody out there is probably saying, well, if you've got it on the Sorcerer Lord, you don't need to take it on the Blue Scribes because the Blue Scribes could learn it on a 4-up. 100% agree, and I did wrestle with that, but there's just my opinion is I think that most of the time I'm going to be casting Boon of Tzeentch with the Blue Scribes anyway. And there's also the possibility if Archaon's in range, the Sorcerer Lord is going to be casting Demonic Power most of the time. So I just really wanted to double up on that spell because it might be in a situation where the Blue Scribes need to cast a Bolt and the Chaos Sorcerer might be a little bit further up the board and casting Demonic Power. So it might not be the best choice. I could have done something else. I just like that redundancy. I just want some Bolt of change. I've experimented with a couple other of the spells on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and there's a bunch in the Lore of Fate that are really good to take. I just feel for what this list is lacking, having the ability to get some mortal wounds out there is more important. All right, going down to the rest of the unit. 3x10 pink horrors. Now, I am running the new FAQ list. They're not as good. I don't think they're as good as they were. People will argue it. I think you're missing out on a lot. The split, just bringing them back. Now I have all these 1 for Destiny dice I don't need. I miss that. I mean, they're not horrible. They're still a really good unit. They're still a 50 wound unit that really doesn't battle shock until their last 20 wounds. So they're not bad. They do what they do. I like the old War Scroll a little bit. I think most of us Tzeentch players did. I do have a battle regiment. They're in the battle regiment. The Chaos Sorcerer Lord, the Blue Scribes, and the Changecaster. So this is a 3-drop list. I have debated on other battalions. I don't specifically a Warlord to get an extra enhancement, and I went back and forth, and I like the ability to try to dictate who goes first. With a 3-drop, you're not guaranteed that. Even with a 1-drop, you're really not guaranteed if somebody else has a 1-drop and he outrolls you. I mean, but I want to in most of the games, I have had the opportunity to go first. So I like that ability because if I set up and I know that and the enemy doesn't really realize the range and threat range that Archaon has, and I'm looking in like, hey, I can smash 3 of his units turn 1. I would probably take the first turn just to go over there and do it. Plus, it allows me to get all my buffs up and make that decision. Maybe I'm totally shut down in the casting phase, and then decide, hey, I'm just going to pull Archaon back because I didn't get any buffs up. Let them come to me. I'll sit behind 150 wounds of pinks for a turn or so. Then I'll turn around and hopefully get buffs up and go attack. So there you have my list. Let's see how it's going to play in actuality. All right, this is Jack. We're playing Power in Numbers today, and I'm taking on his
Legion of the First Prince.
Legion of the First Prince. He went undefeated at the local tournament with this list about a week ago, and it is super nasty.
And all 3 players quit.
Yeah, no one wants to play this. So hopefully today we'll get to show you why, and we're going to deploy, and then we'll come back and go over the lists. All right, we're deployed. I've taken the first turn because we've sort of talked out all the powers and abilities that we're dealing with right now, and I'm going to let you go over your list and just go as much detail as you want. Guys, there'll be a timestamp in here if you just want to see, you just want to get right to the game, because I told Jack to go into detail for the tactics. Also, there'll be a link in the description that'll take you to the written list for both of these. All right, so where are we starting here?
All right, so obviously we're doing Legion of the First Prince. This was a full 2,000 points on the nose. We're going to start off with the big bad boy himself, Be'lakor. I'm sure at this point everybody knows Be'lakor's ability to shut down a model once per game at the beginning of each phase. So I pick a model during the enemy hero phase. In the beginning of each phase, I roll a dice. On a 3-up, that model cannot make any actions, command abilities, receive orders, whatever for that phase. It's really good if your opponent goes second and you're able to use it then, and then give them the double turn, or if they take the double turn, because then you get 2 turns of their model being Be'lakor, which is a huge advantage. His personal spell is Enfeeble Foe, which makes them give -1 to their wound roll. Not all that amazing. But he doesn't know the lore spell, which is for both the characters, because we only have 1 lore spell as Legion of the First Prince. It allows a unit to fight once it dies. Really good to put on like the Epitome or something like that has amazing attacks. Plague Bears kind of sucks. So that's Be'lakor. Next key part model is the Demon Prince. Kind of the backbone, really shuts down melee heavy armies. The Demon Prince this is the Khorne one, so his command ability, which is you spend every single time, has to run in charge for models within 18 inches of him. It's a big deal, especially with the redeploy mechanic. So the maximum they can charge at that point is 6 inches if they roll a 12. If they moved within 3 inches of you and you're able to redeploy at least 2 inches, then they have to roll a 9 to successfully make it there. If you deploy 4 or more, they can't get to you at all. So they have a 50% chance of just negating their entire combat. Really good. He's also running the Ruinous Aura, which gives him an 8-inch bubble of 5-up ward save instead of the 6-up. And his artifact is the Armor of the Pact, which lets him reroll saves. So at a base 3-up save between Mystic Shield and All-Out Defense, he can be an effective 1-up rerolling. That's almost impossible to get through. He has not died in a single game, so I'm hoping it happens this game when he gets in the sword. Third little control mechanic is the Bile Piper here with all the Plague Bears. So we know the Bile Piper has different songs that he can sing. He can either give them all Plague Bears wholly within 14 inches an extra attack, let them do mortal wounds on 6s to hit, or the big one that we're going for is the no piling in if you're within 3 inches of Plague Bear. Again, just shuts down part of your opponent's choices. They might be able to charge in, but if they can't pile in afterwards, they're not really doing a lot of damage, so it helps you survive longer. The Epitome is our powerhouse for the list. It's where most of our damage is coming from. It is equipped with the 4-fold blade. I know a lot of people think the Epitome is a little weird, but at 9 attacks, doing 5s and 6s are mortal wounds. D3 mortal wounds, it adds up to a lot. Again, with the spell that lets you reroll 1s to hit against up to D3 units. On a 4-up, anything around it fights last. It can ignore mortal wounds on a 2-up. It's very survivable. And then because we're in Legion of the First Prince, it gets a 6-up Feel No Pain, or if it's within 8 inches of the Demon Prince, a 5-up. So it's got some big survivability there. Plague Bears are battle line. They're here to soak damage, give Be'lakor some extra wounds since he can transfer off in Legion of the First Prince on a 4-up to them. And again, they work with the Sloppy Bile Piper to stop piling in. Kairos, he's here to nuke heroes, really. That automatic 6 mortal wounds is amazing. He is the answer to range units. 6 mortal wounds against most range units will take out between 3 and 6 models, and then you're able to summon the Chaos Spawn and engage them in combat. And the majority of range units aren't that good in melee, so the Chaos Spawn usually lives and ties them down. They're changing 1 dice per game. Again, stops charges. You know, they go from an 8-inch charge to a 2-inch charge, that just gets you another turn. The biggest drawback for this list is ranged mortal wounds, so Lumineth Realm Lords, they can shoot you off the table. Those mortal wounds might be an issue. And Giants, that's a lot of beef, and I just don't know what to do. Against Hero Hammer lists, you're usually pretty good. You can shut them down with Bellicor, you can buy yourself another turn with Kairos, maybe another turn with the Demon Prince. Most of the games that I've played with this, there's not a whole lot of combat. Like the Demon Prince and Bellicor usually get in there, and that's about it. Just because our opponent can't really do much with their army. Then we've got some Screamers over here just to claim objectives because we had a free 100 points left over, and our Spell Portal to be able to extend Kairos' range with his spells. And that's really about it. So the whole point is just to say no to your opponent as often as possible.
And hence the reason why some people do not like playing this list. This is not a list and a mechanics that you want to bring to a friendly game, especially with newer players. Do not bring this list and try to teach people. This is not how we grow the community.
Not at all. This list also requires a lot of decision-making skills. It's mechanics-wise, I mean, the mechanics are pretty straightforward. Everybody has a key role that they're designed to do, but placement and order is a big deal. You have to end within so many inches of things once you're finished moving to be able to stop the pylons to get the anti-charge out as far as possible. So something to take in there too.
I'm going to take the first turn because 90% of the reason me taking the first turn is the Demon Prince doesn't have his half charge ability up right now. So Jack,
yep.
Good luck. We will come back after my hero phase. Alright, movement's done and hero phase is done. Sorry I've missed the hero phase. Basically got every single spell off. Kairos just rolled low. I didn't even roll really that high on Kairos' stuff, but right now Archaon has Ocular Visions, Demonic Power, Arcane Transformation, Shield of Fate, and a Mystic Shield sitting on him. My battle tactic was to run these three, so I did. They just scooted up. And I actually rolled all of my banner rolls made for the pinks. So I'm sitting at 8 fate points right now. And we're in position to make our charge. So we're going to do charges and come right back. Alright, so Archaon obviously made his charge. That was all I was doing. I did get the Gift of Worship Reckless Abandon on him. So currently he's got 2 extra attacks on his sword. I had to go over here. I wanted to go more towards the Demon Prince, but I would have been out of my second activation with my Chaos Lord. So I just said, hey, let's try to kill the Plague Bearers, maybe get into the Contorted if we can, and we'll see. I don't even know. I probably won't get to pile in, or I won't get to pile in unless I kill a lot of crap. So we're going to go into combat. Archaon activating. Well, he's going to actually probably do a roar or a stomp. I think I'm going to stomp. We'll see. Alright, so the big thing here is Archaon was able to activate twice. However, the Bilepacker stopped me from piling in, so that's why I sort of clipped both of those units. I was outside of 3 of the Atorted Epitome. I was able to, on my second activation, kill the 2 units of Plague Bearers. Thank goodness I had the rerolls, and I will be quite honest, Jack made a ton of saves. Like he was rolling hot on armor and wards.
Saves.
So, but we did take those 2 units out. Obviously, I do not take the point. Not that it matters because we can't burn until turn 2. And he's out of attacks. So we're going into, well, let me add up the points for this turn.
Just 2. You don't score until you burn something.
Yep, we don't score. So I just get the 2 for my guys running back here. And we're going into, Legion of the First Blah, turn 1. Alright, we are finished with Legion's movement. What happened during the hero phase and movement?
So hero phase, we've got Kairos did 6 mortal wounds and summoned a Chaos Spawn against the Manta Rays over there, the Screamers. His spell portal was auto-unbinded because of Tzeentch auto-unbind on turns 1, 3, and 5.
From Host Arcana, yep.
And then we put the Master's Command on the Epitome so it can attack when it dies. The Epitome did Flaming Weapon and got reroll 1s to hit against the black unprimed guy over there in the back.
Chaos Lord.
Chaos Lord. And Bellicor failed Mystic Shield. No, Mystic Shield got unbound, and we put Enfeeble Foe onto Archaon for -1 to wound.
Yep, and when he moved up his Plague Bearers, he was within 9 of Archaon, and I tried to do a redeploy with the intent of getting right as close as I could to my Chaos Lord. So if he does pile in with his spawn, I would be able to activate with Archaon and also block any charges from the Epitome to my Chaos Lord. I rolled a 2, so I scooted back a touch, and that's all I could do. We're going into charges, right? Are we ready?
No, we're
shooting.
We're gonna try and summon.
Oh, we got summons. So all right, so let's try to summon up.
You get 10 or better from Bellicor. So 8, yeah, definitely better. So we're gonna summon in some pink horrors.
All right, pink horrors coming out. So what happened with charge?
So the Demon Prince rolled a 12 for his charge, and went straight over those screamers into these back 2 heroes there. The Epitome failed the charge, so we used a command point to reroll, got a 10, and moved up onto those heroes as well. And that's all the charges. So now we're gonna. Oh, we summoned in the pink successfully with Bellicor and killed 1 pink horror over here.
Yep.
And now we're gonna start making some attacks.
All right. All right, Jack. What happened during this turn of combat?
So Demon Prince made this awesome charge flying across the board and whiffed. He did 1 damage to that little Sorcerer Lord over there.
Chaos Sorcerer Lord only took 1. I rolled pretty good for my saves too. So.
He did. The Epitome blew up the other Chaos Sorcerer Lord.
Yep. That's just a Chaos Lord.
With just mortal wounds off his to-hit attacks.
Yep.
The Chaos Spawn was there to tie up the Screamers, which he did. He did 1 damage, and the Screamers in return did 1 damage.
Yep.
So that was all the combats. So
going into priority.
battle tactic, I'm going to get 2 points, and then we'll roll for priority. I had 5. You
I got 5.
You
All right. Yep, I get to pick. So let me think about it. I'm probably going to take it. All right. So my hero phase was very lackluster. I got Ocular Visions on the Chaos Sorcerer Lord on himself because he was out of Archaon's range. He retreated out of that combat too. We've already done movement as well. Bellicor has, what's the rule called for him to basically shut down?
That's not destroy all my models.
He shuts down Archaon this turn. He was able to shut him down the hero phase, so Archaon couldn't cast. He did fail his roll for the movement, so I did move within 3 of the Contorted Epitome and the Spawn, so we'll see if we can get lucky with any of that movement.
The Dark Master.
Yes. Other than that, I did get a Pink Fire off with my General, and he did roll a 10 because I used the once per game ability roll D3, and I put it towards the Demon Prince and rolled a 1, so it was only 1 mortal wound. His second cast was Mystic Shield, and he failed. I do have 16 fate points, so I think I'm fixing to summon something, and we're going to take it from... And that'll be the end of movement once I summon these. All right. All right, so pretty lackluster turn for me. Pulled up, shot, and did a good chunk of wounds over here to the pinks. I flubbed a bunch of shooting with my pinks, but it took a few of his out. I did get to move the Screamers over and take that objective. I was able to activate in the charge phase. And I had to because I was like, if I can activate in the fight phase, I have a good possibility of killing all 3 of those models. If not, I could focus 2 down for sure. Well, then the worst thing could happen. Yeah, they ended up between the Demon Prince and the Contorted Epitome did 14 wounds to Archaon. 14 wounds to Archaon. And he was not able to activate in the fight phase. So, yeah, he just sort of sat there and got beat on. I guess the good is I am taking the points, and I will be burning it.
You burn just this one, or?
Yeah, I'm just burning yours.
Okay.
So I'm taking it. Yep, 1 point, and then I did hold my 2 points, so I got a total of 3. I'm up to 5 right now. Really, that was I was not expecting that damage to come through like that. I rolled pretty poorly on my saves, and I mean, you rolled okay. I don't think you rolled out of bounds with your attacks at all. So it was just me flubbing those saves.
I think it was the mortal wounds that came through from the Epitome.
Well, you put 4, 4, and then 6. It was 4, 4, and 6. So that was what it was 4 regular attacks from the Demon Prince, 4 more regular attacks from the Epitome, and then 6 mortal wounds, right?
Yeah.
That made it through. Something like that. It was just, or no, it doesn't matter. It was a lot of wounds. So Archaon's almost dead. Ha! All the people on the internet that tells me Archaon doesn't die. Well, he does when he's not buffed at all. I gave him an all-out defense is all I could really give him. So that was -1 to hit from the Tzeentch trait, and that's what we got out of that. So we're going into your turn 2.
Yep. All right.
So Jack, what happened in hero phase and movement phase?
Alright, so hero phase. Bellicor got enfeeblement off on that front unit of pinks that are right there in front of him, and he failed a Mystic Shield. Kairos got off Spell Portal.
Yep.
You use your Destiny Dice to negate his 6 more wound spell.
Yep.
So instead, he channeled a Master's Command, the Fight When It Dies spell, through the portal onto our Epitome. Okay. The Epitome tried to get the rerolled ones to spell off, but you dispelled that, and then he got off Flaming Weapon.
And I'm sitting at 20 fate points now. I healed Archaon for 1, so yay. But he is healed. And when he moved up with Bellicor, I redeployed the pinks back 4 inches. So we're sort of sitting like it is.
We tried to summon and failed. So it is what it is.
So we're going into shooting now.
Shooting.
All right. So talk about what happened this turn.
So Bellicor charged in over there against the pinks. We started with combat over here with the Demon Prince. He did like 1 damage to Archaon.
Yeah.
The Epitome brought Archaon down to 1 wound.
Yep.
Archaon then went and killed my Chaos Spawn, so he couldn't kill Archaon, and brought the Demon Prince down to 1 wound.
Yep.
That was all Archaon did. I was okay with that.
And let me just say this. There at the end, Archaon had to make about 2 or 3 really clutch rolls to even stay alive. And he has the spell on the Contortive Epitome, so I couldn't put any attacks there because he would pretty much auto-die.
If the Epitome dies, then it gets to attack you again. And
yep.
1 wound Archaon would not do good against that.
Yeah.
And Bellicor came over here against the pinks. We got rid of all the pinks. And I think we got 4 brimstones on the board.
Yep.
So I mean, we're getting there.
Working it.
We just got to kill like 40 more models over there. So.
Yep. Did it when he shrugged the wound off to the
Plague Board did not die, so there was no damage returned from the horrors.
Okay, so it's the roll off. If we make it, Archaon might live a little bit. Yeah, I got a 6 to a 2. We're definitely going to take that. I think I can get some. I can get some headway on maybe doing something here. So I'm going to take the turn, and we're going into Desiples turn 3.
Yep.
All right. So just to recap, coming back from movement, I'm trying to get Archaon over there. He redeployed and was able to move like 2 plague bearers within 6 inches. So now I won't be able to get my battle tactic, which is taking that point. I had grand designs on killing his Demon Prince, so I wouldn't be half charge. However, he was denied basically every spell, and then the 1 spell that got through, he made all his saves, his ward saves. Then I pretty much shot with half the army at him. I was not able to get through his 2-up, re-rolling 1s. I couldn't even get through the armor save, so we never even got to his 5-up ward, and that was everything. I summoned the Flamers over here with the intent of maybe getting a shot or 2 through and doing damage. Just nothing. I moved my Screamers, and I really made a tactical error. I tried to hit the Contorted for some wounds because I was like, well, I got nothing else. I should have hit the Demon Prince and maybe got 1 through that way, but probably, you know, that's it. So my charges are going to be halved now for Archaon and for these pinks, pretty much everybody who wants to charge, really.
Right.
So we're going to go with a big one first. We're going to go with Archaon's charge. What am I needing to get anywhere?
You need a 5 to get to the Plague Bearers.
That's cocked, unless you...
Okay.
So that's a 7.
We'll make it a 2 just to make this easy. We're going to make the 6 into a 1.
He's going to make the 6 into a 1. So that gives me a 2. And I can't re-roll this, and not even with a command point.
Yeah.
So Kairos is 1 time per game. 1 time per game, change my dice. Just stopped Archaon in his tracks. Let's try these pinks over here. They're going to get a 12, of course.
All day long.
So there is a 12 right there, and yeah, I'll decide if I want to move him in. I would really need to get this. I don't think I'm gonna get the wound off, but it might be good to lock them 2 units down. All right, my turn could have went, you know, a little better. Basically, I was not able to kill the Demon Prince, so Archaon could not make a charge. He was able to get 1 Plague Bearer, at least 1, I think 2, into that bubble of 6 inches on that point. So that stopped me from even taking it. With a redeploy, he rolled a 1 for his redeploy. Then I just wasn't able to kill the Demon Prince. I rolled enough to make a charge, but then Kairos negated that. He turned that into a 1, so it was not. Put a couple wounds on Bellicor. Bellicor killed down to 3 blues over here. So far as battle far as points this turn,
No battle tactics.
yeah, no battle tactics. Didn't really get to do it, so not very awesome on my end. All right, I went ahead and burned this point. The sole reason why is, and I don't know if Jack saw it or not.
I was going to retreat onto it.
He was going to retreat onto it and take it. I had a couple guys holding it, but not enough. I moved my pinks too far out, so I went ahead and burned it for 4.
You know what we completely forgot too is that I get to destroy one objective this round.
Yep, and we didn't do the destroy objective. So, what would you have done?
Well, before your turn started, I would have burned the middle one because there's no way I could take it.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and remove that middle one. These are none of these primary?
No.
So, there we go.
And now it just comes down to you want to burn that one or not, now that you know you don't have that middle one still.
No, there's no point. I got to keep it because of the points wise. All right, so you wrapped up movement and your hero phase. What happened?
So hero phase, Kairos casts his 6 mortal wound spell, which you auto dispel because it's round 3, and you get that one for being Tzeentch. He then put the piling and fight attack or spell onto the epitome again through the portal, and arcane bolt, which was dispelled.
We had dispelled the arcane bolt.
The epitome turned the demon prince into a monster, and tried to do reroll ones to hit, but that didn't work. Bellicor put Enfeeble Foe on that front unit there of horrors, and Mystic Shield onto my own horrors. The Demon Prince, that is now a monster, and Bellicor retreated completely into my opponent's territory, giving me my battle tactic for the turn.
Yep.
And they had an extra point because they're both monsters. Plague Bears moved up to make a charge, and Archaon redeployed. And we've moved up to make a charge with the Manta Rays and the Screamers and the Horrors.
Yep, yep.
So that's where we're sitting right now. Let's make some charges.
So we're making charges.
And we failed to summon anything.
All right, so that turn, killed a couple.
Killed one Manta Ray?
Yeah, killed a Screamer and did a no wound to the epitome. Epitome did not only a couple. Killed a couple blues.
7.
Yeah. So going into, and you scored.
3.
You scored 3. We're going into the big roll off because
I'm not going to burn anything.
he's not burning anything. I still hold all of my stuff, so we're going into the roll off.
5.
Uh-oh.
I go first for a chance.
5. I'm going to take it. Son of a bitch. If I can't get other rolls and saves, I'm winning the priority and it's keeping me in the game.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
all right, so I'm going to take it and figure out my battle tactic. So hero phase went okay. I was able to get Shield of Fate up and a Mystic Shield with Archaon. I got my rerolls. So we got a couple of spells off. I got 15 fate points and I used it to summon an Exalted Flamer. I have a total of 15 and I put an Exalted Flamer. I got my battle tactic by moving these units over there in his territory. I'm with a 3-inch charge there. We're going into shooting. So wrapping up my turn, I was able to make some charges. I went ahead and charged the pinks over here. And, well, let's go to shooting. Shooting wise, I put a couple wounds on Bellicor. I was able to take off the Sloppity Bile Popper, right?
Yep.
With the Exalted Flamer, which was really good rolling on me. I'm not so good on him. But that was awesome because he then allowed his shenanigans with those Plague Bears. I killed the Screamer. Bellicor took a couple wounds. The Atorted Epitome's down to 1 wound. That unit's almost gone over there.
Well, they have 14 more.
Yeah, I got to put some stuff back. But Archaon just did 12 damage to the Plague Bears. But to be quite honest, I whiffed pretty hard on a couple of those rolls. And so they, in fact, might be gone by now. But it's fine. We will... we're going to go into, that's it, right? I scored my battle tactic, and that's it. We're going into your turn.
Yep. My turn 4.
Yep. All right, so what happened in your turn? Well, your hero and movement phase, sorry.
Hero phase, so battle tactic was to destroy this unit of battle line over here. Demon Prince got turned into a monster by the Epitome, and the Epitome did not get the reroll 1 spells off. Kairos did 6 damage to the Brimstones, killing 6 of them, and put Mystic Shield and Plague Bears. And failed his other spell. Bellicor failed to cast Enfeeble Foe, and the Fight When You Die spell was disbinded. Movement, the Demon Prince just moved in within 3 inches of the Brimstones. These Brimstones moved back onto this objective, and Kairos moved to contest this one, and we failed to summon anything. So now we're shooting and charge.
Alright, what we got for charges?
Yeah, shooting first.
How we're shooting.
My little brims.
Alright, so what happened this turn?
Killed that unit of Brims, got my battle tactic.
Which you didn't get it with the...
Did not get it with the monster though, so I only get 2. I get the extra point.
Yeah.
Yeah. He killed the rest of my Plague Bears. Still contesting though with Kairos, so I still got the objective.
Yep.
And we just kind of
and I'm gonna spend
over there.
I'm gonna spend my last points to auto pass those guys. And are you burning anything?
No.
Okay.
So
So
I mean,
you
it's honestly the game's gonna come down to this roll off.
Yeah. So here's the roll off to figure it out. 1 and 2.
Oh. Okay.
You finally got
I
it.
got game. Okay. Let's do this thing.
All right, so we're going to figure out what happens here, and he's going to wait. You can burn both if you hold.
I can burn them both for 8 at the end of my turn.
Yep.
That's
So
16.
there
You can burn yours for 8, but you're.
if I'm holding it at the end of my turn.
Well, which you're going to be. I can't contest because you have battle line on it.
Yep.
But that only puts you at 19, and I'm going to be at 8. 16 plus 9 is 25.
If you can keep that one.
Oh, we're gonna.
You're gonna kill Archaon.
I'm gonna freaking try.
All right, sounds good. Let's see if you can kill Archaon. Because what does it come down to? Let's just talk to it. What does a kill come down to?
I just have to control this at the end of my turn.
Yep. So if you can
And
kill,
I'm gonna come over with the Epitome, the Chaos Spawn, and the Demon Prince.
Yep. So let's see. Basically, if you can kill Archaon this turn is what it really comes down to. So, and I say that also. I mean, if you want to be smart about it, you could pull somebody off to contest that objective for Monstrous Takeover if you wanted to.
The only thing I can pull off is Kairos.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, honestly.
All right. So far in his turn, we sort of just went past what's going on in different places, cast some spells. What did you do?
I tried to put mortal wounds onto him with 6 mortal wounds with the signature spell. Failed. Got Arcane Bolt off for D3. Did 1.
And that was my bad. And I'm not taking it off, but I did have I had a spell shrug and I totally forgot it. But it's fine.
You got to.
I got you
to redeploy because I messed up. I moved Kairos away, which let him. Oh wait, no. If I moved Kairos outside of 10, he can't redeploy because I have to be within 9.
You moved the brims.
That was it. I moved the brims. Thank you.
Yeah, you moved Kairos out, and then
I moved the brims in. He redeployed back.
Yeah, and he'd already moved all 3 of his contorted, his
Demon Prince.
Yeah, they had already moved up into 3. So he kind of a little bit, and that's what I said. Oh, he made a little bit of a tactical error, and I ended up rolling a 5 on the redeploy. But then guess what? Yeah,
we rolled a 9 for the charge for the Epitome. We rolled a 12 for the charge for the Demon Prince. We rolled a 9 for the horrors that spawned right outside of 9, right at 9. And the Brims only needed a 7 when they got in there.
Yeah, so basically everybody but the spawn made it in. So more than likely, if Archaon even lives through this...
Well, see if he fights last. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So on a 4-up, he fights last.
And he fights last. So he's going to fight last. And the biggest thing is how many bodies do you got over there? So that's the thing. I would have to kill a lot of wounds. So that's 25 wounds of pinks, just depending.
So I've got 3 pinks, 6 brims. That's 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
I have 13 bodies over
So
here.
he's I'm gonna have to tear through a lot to take that point or keep the point, basically. Or
Yeah.
well, what was it? All right. So finishing up that turn, it was super close. I didn't even roll for the Epitome. Basically what I had to do to keep the objective was to kill the Brims, the Epitome, and the Demon Prince, and not swing at the pinks to make them multiply. So I killed the Brims. Then I was relying on Slayer of Kings. If not to kill, to slay him outright, it was going to be, that should be enough to get through. He only had 3 wounds left. And then I hit 6, 6, 6, and 3 for the hits, and then 1, 1, 1, and
only wounded with 2 of them.
Yeah, and then of course I did get 1 wound through for 3 damage, which would have killed him, and he rolled
2 board saves.
Yeah, so I didn't even roll for the Epitome because there's no point, because I needed to basically kill those to just so no one would have that objective, and he gets it. He burns it for 8, and he's going to burn the other one for 8. So he'll give him 27. You said
16 for that plus 2 because I got my tactic. For Monsters Takeover. So 16, 18 plus 9, 27.
27, and then I'm sitting at 11. So if I burnt my point and even did a battle tactic, I would get 11 more. It'd put me up to 22. So
12 if you kill Kairos.
Yeah. So it's not doable to catch now. The game was super close. I think it was close for a couple of things. One, I kept winning priority, and the other reason is you got Archaon down to 1 wound, and then I got back to...
Also, this particular scenario, very good for you. Because as long as there's battle line even near the objectives, they can't be contested, except by other battle lines. So a unit of pink on each one, there's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. And I think that, basically if Archaon would have died earlier, it would have been a different game. But I'm telling you what, the Demon Prince and the Retorted Epitome were a pain in my ass. I've got them both down to what?
2 and 1, respectively.
Yeah, 1 wound on the Epitome and
2 on the Demon Prince.
There was a lot of wasted shooting. Just like, and I know that, but it was just like I'm trying to get a wound through it. So at one point, the Demon Prince, he sat there with 1 wound on him for a turn or so.
Yeah, 2 turns.
Yeah, and it was just like, I just need to get the wound off. But when it's a 2-up re-rolling plus a 5-up ward, it's like you're not getting through that. But super close game.
That was very, very close. I was worried there for a while.
Yeah, and going back, if I would have won that priority at the end, which of course you can't bank on that one way or the other, but if I'd have won the priority, I would have probably won the game because I would have burnt.
You could have
both.
taken this easily and burned it.
Yeah,
and you would have gotten 8, 9, but then the most I could have gotten was 8.
Yeah, and that would have been it, and I'd almost, I'm gonna say auto done it, but. However, good game, good list, guys. Go check out this list of his in the description. It's it might not be your playstyle or flavor, but there's a lot of tools in that toolbox. And like I said, he shut some really good lists down at the tournament. Taking this to Hammerfest, right?
Yes, sir.
So this will be the Hammerfest list. So figure out how you want to counter it. All right, that pretty much does it.
All right, so there you have our battle report. While the score wasn't that close, it really, really came down to that last priority roll. There was probably 10 to 15 to 20 rolls during this game that came down to one roll or a very, very close chance. Archaon was down to 1 wound. I had to make 2 or 3 4-up saves to keep him on the table. Had to win that priority. If I would have lost that priority, Archaon would have been dead that turn. I won every priority. The last priority, if I would have went first in the last round as well, I would have probably won the game because I would have been able to take those points and burn them, and he wouldn't have been able to get to them. So there was just even going down to his Demon Prince getting down to 1 wound again for the game. So there was several just little rolls, little armor saves, little things that this game was really close in a lot of respects. I mean, at least I felt. That being said, I did make several tactical errors. My target priority there for 2 turns was way whack. I mean, usually I pride myself on sort of targeting correctly, right tool for the right job. I was way out of whack with that. I shouldn't even have shot it as Demon Prince for 2 turns. I just saw that 1 wound and I was like, I can do it. I can take him. And then I kept throwing dice and nothing went through. If I would have just shot at other things on the board, I think it would have served me better in the long run. There was a lot of things that sort of went back and forth in this game. There early on, he was making a ton of ward saves. I mean, like his ward saves for his Demon Prince were insane. So I feel that it was a good match regardless of the outcome. I learned a lot. I learned a little bit about how to deal with Bellicor and some of the Legion and the First Prince stuff. And he learned a lot. This was his first opportunity to play against my list, so he got to see the damage potential that Archaon can put out and the survivability. This list is what I'm taking to Hammerfest GT coming up in a couple weeks. So probably the next battle report you see should be from that GT. 5-game tournament. Hopefully can pull a good 4 out. That'd be what I would shoot for. I'm finishing up painting for my list, so I gotta keep grinding on that. I'm only 1 model short. It's just Archaon. Come on, how much can that take? Remember, guys, this is only my second battle report that I'm actually doing, in my game room. I know I would have liked to included some more rolls and some more recaps. But like I said, we were on a bit of a time crunch, so I was hurrying through it just a little bit. Constructive criticism and feedback is always accepted. Like, guys, tell me what you want to see. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Rules, comments on how these lists play out, what you would change, how you would do stuff differently. Love to hear all that. With all that said, guys, Thanks for watching, and y'all be good.